allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. On the 25th day of January, the town board passed a resolution ordering a public hearing to be held on the 22nd day of February 2016 at 7 p.m. prevailing time to hear all interested parties on a proposed introductory law, local law number 1 of the year 2016, entitled A Local Law Providing for Residency Requirements for Certain Offices of the Town of Highlands. I would like to open that public hearing. Does anyone have any comments on that law? No? Being no comments, I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Okay, that was quick. Is there any public comment? Minutes of the town board meeting on the 8th of February. What is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. In communications, I don't know if anyone has noticed, the Mine Torn Road has been closed for 5 days, I think since Wednesday. I got a hold of, or I sent an email to Colonel Landy Dunham, Colonel Landy Dunham, and my answer was, Bob, I apologize for the road being closed without effectively informing the community of the reason. It is certainly temporary, and I honestly do not know the specific reason why it's closed currently. I will get back to you ASAP. That was on Sunday I got that, so he didn't get back to me today, so it's, at least we know it's not closed permanently. I just want to make note that I received a letter from, I think we all did, from Doris Koziak, asking that the dispatcher's department be kept intact, because, and she gave a number of reasons why, mostly having to do with senior citizens and their program of calls to the dispatcher and the dispatcher checking on them.
The Consolidation Committee has that on file. with
Has
the
that letter too?
consultants. Yes.
Okay. I wouldn't normally read an anonymous letter, and I'm not going to read the letter in its entirety, but I received a letter from, thank you for your time, signed Concerned Citizen. This person had a problem with something we had online. It was taken care of within an hour of me getting this letter, which was stuck in the door of the town hall. And I only bring it up because if there's anyone out there that has some sort of a problem, don't be anonymous, don't be a concerned citizen, just come and talk to us, that's all. There's no big deal, especially with something that was, this person was right. And we took care of it, and there was no reason to be embarrassed to come and talk to us. Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson Award, the official Gold Award Centennial. We are, as elected officials, invited to this. It's on Tuesday, March the 8th. No, I'm sorry. It is on Sunday, March the 13th at West Point. If any of us are going, only elected officials who RSVP that they are attending will be recognized at the ceremony. So that is on Sunday, March the 13th, 2016. You can RSVP. I'll leave this downstairs, but you're going to get back to Ruth Torres, and I have her email address.
What time of the day is that?
That's on a Sunday, March the 13th.
Do you have the time?
Oh, the time, 1:45 to 3:30.
Thank you.
Sustainable Orange is having an emergency, the Department of Planning invites municipal representatives, professionals, and other interested stakeholders to learn how municipalities can be more sustainable. Can't get that word out. 3 topics include Smart Growth Toolkit, Energize, and Solarize. And this will be taking place on February the 29th at 7 p.m. at the Orange County Emergency Services Building. Again, I'll have this on my desk if anybody wants to go. And they want you to register by contacting them. Okay, if the controller would please tell us what she's doing about the AUD and what she has done about the cash audits.
Sure. So the cash audits were done during the month of January and February. Aside from some of the departments needed a little extra help because of the change in the banks, everybody's cash audits were good. For the court clerks, we need specific wording in the minutes, of the town board minutes to send to the court, the New York State Uniform Justice Court, saying that their cash audit was performed in accordance with the law. We do this every year.
June, that's in the agenda, there's specific wording, okay?
Saying that they collect all the fines they were supposed to collect and that they were turned over to the town, the village, or the state as appropriate. So, and everything was in order.
Okay.
And the AUD, I'm working on it. I have the prior year data uploaded. They change the software every year, so that was done. So the prior year data is there. And I'm just going through, as part of the audit and the AUD, I just go through and do an analysis of the accounts, make sure everything's where it should be, reclass anything that needs to be approved. Any expenses that are coming in now after the fact, which there's still a few trickling in. So I don't see any problem with having it filed on time by March 31st.
Ty, this annual update document is filed by the controller by a specific date.
March 31st.
March 31st, and basically she kind of compiles all of her controller records, and it's posted online, sent off to the New York State Controller's Office.
Correct.
And this is something that in the past was a little bit shaky, but it's been done on time every year for quite a while. Kelly might explain it to you one-on-one better than I just did, but just so you understand it.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
I'll get what you want.
Okay.
And we have a budget transfer request, which is not on the agenda, but Kelly begged me if I could just do that. So Kelly's asking us to transfer $308 from the general liability insurance to zoning legal. Legal expenses were higher than anticipated.
And that's to close out 2015?
I hope so.
Okay.
My question.
I mean, that's part of closing out
Yes, it
this.
is.
Right, the other one? Is it me or the other board?
Zoning,
Zoning.
the other board.
The other board.
The other board.
Do I have a motion to make the
That's for our
transfer?
2015 transfer.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Okay, board liaison reports and department heads. So I don't forget somebody. Aaron, you have a report for us?
Just a couple quick things. Hello, Aaron Falk. A while back, we had spoke about petty cash and I declined having the $100 petty cash. I would like to see if the board would consider giving me $100 petty cash for change purposes. I jumped the gun and said I didn't need it, but it's becoming more and more needed every day with signups.
I'll ask for a motion to allow $100 petty cash for the Recreation Department.
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Thank you, easy enough. The second thing was, I just was curious if you guys had a chance to take a look at the background check information I gave you last meeting. If you had any.
I have it on my list to bring
Oh.
up, and
Oh.
what I'd like from you is a more specific cost.
Okay,
How many people you anticipate hiring? I think it was $795 a person through one plan.
yes.
Give us an idea of a total sum.
I'll have
how
that
much
all
it's gonna
detailed
cost.
out for you for the next meeting.
Okay.
The other last thing was basketball.
I think we all are in agreement with, this is a good thing to do.
Absolutely.
Basketball is closing out next week. So I just wanted to give you guys a head, these are the, in lieu of trophies for everybody, we're giving out, gifts to everyone who participates. Little drawstring backpacks and Town of Highlands Recreation Basketball.
Right.
It's actually about 50% cheaper than buying trophies for everybody, even though they don't look like they are.
You can
Cost-wise,
use it.
they're a lot less expensive, more practical, and we're going to be looking at doing that like across the board for all the sports. So the first place teams will get first place trophies, and everyone else will get a participation, gift for playing. And I think that was all I had. I'll keep it short tonight.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Highway? You're good, huh? You sure? I just got a email, might as well bring it up now. The trail around Brooks's Lake. Apparently, there is at least one tree that has fallen across the trail. So this person would like to know if we're responsible, which I think we kind of are. I don't think the park takes care of that. So if you could, in your leisure, have the guys take a look and see what's going on back there. All right. We'll start off with Mr. Etzel, please.
Okay, it's mostly about the consolidation committee. And we had a meeting, public meeting last Thursday. Basically what it was all about was just explaining, as kind of a kickoff meeting as far as the public was concerned. The group had solicited input, concerns and hopes, from the board, the meeting prior, and asked the same thing of those in attendance at the meeting. So I want to thank the planning board in advance for giving us the room. We were overflowed into the hallway out here. It was that well attended. I'd have to say it predominantly was attended by emergency services workers, particularly the village police. There were a number of them that expressed concern over their future employment. Also in attendance, who was quite vocal, was Robert Held, our sewer plant lead. So he was concerned about, what would happen and stuff with that. Again, it's good to get his concerns out there, but it's all very preliminary. As I just copied the town board late this afternoon, they sent out, it's not a FOIL request, but looks just like a FOIL request, and it's unfortunately falling heavily upon Kelly to compile vast amounts of financial data. I'm not sure I've seen a request of this volume in my tenure on the board, so I apologize to Kelly for that, and I don't know what we can do to help other than ask Kelly what we can do to help with regard to that. It was also copied out to our police chief and our highway department chief, Pat. I'm not sure you've seen it yet, because there's some specific requests about personnel duties, job descriptions, territory covered. They want to understand nuances of the jobs. So they're really getting into a lot of heavy detail with the requests, right? They're reported there from the Times Herald Record that summarized it in the paper, and MJ was there. I assume there might be a little bit in the paper this week for people who are interested. They had said, I didn't even look at our town website, that the link for their,
I I had-
site is on our page yet, or?
I had the meeting posted, so I couldn't log into our website today.
Okay.
It's on the village one.
Yeah, so
It's already popped up on Facebook.
there's a project website with a lot of information there, and as this data starts coming in, I assume it's all going to be posted there in an organized fashion. It's still pretty early yet, right? So I was just before this meeting, I was talking with Jean down in the assessor's office. She hasn't forgotten about the issue of West Point renting properties to private citizens on post, and she's pretty absorbed right now in the assessments right now, but she's going to make some phone calls, did a little preliminary research, and I was pressed for time getting up here, so I couldn't get into detail with her, but she's looking into that. Yeah. She talked to the assessor over in Cornwall. I had no idea that it was going on, but I do know the village mayor, Brendan Coyne, because my wife had talked to him. He's very much aware of the situation as well.
Okay, if you could relay back to the Consolidation Committee until the AOD report gets completed and done. I'm not saying there won't be anything done by Kelly, but it may be a little bit limited up to the time that gets.
We had a sidebar, Kelly in particular, and then I chimed in at the end, and I think you had relayed that to Tim, who's the lead there. So
Okay.
that's recognized. And
Mr. King.
Yes, good evening. You heard already from Mr. Falk about all the wonderful things going on in recreation, so I'm not going to reiterate what he talked about, other than to say keep up the good work. I was at a conference last week, so I wanted to kind of touch on the fact that I went down on behalf of the town as a delegate to New York City for the Association of Towns annual conference. And while there, I got an opportunity to meet Senator Schumer, U.S. Senator, representing the state of New York for the second time. First time I met him was actually in Fort Montgomery. So I made sure he knew that I was from the town of Highlands. But it was a great experience overall. Got a chance to attend a variety of classes that I think will be beneficial in helping me grow as a council member. And also met some vendors that, one in particular was the New York State Emergency Management Office that was represented there. So that leads into my next topic that is going to probably be a subject for both myself and Council Member Gunza. We met and had a wonderful emergency management meeting to start the ball rolling at getting our processes updated. And one of the things that we're going to be looking for is a emergency management coordinator. And we talked about this in a previous town meeting, but I think she'll go more specifically. But what I wanted to say, I was going to bring my military experience to the table and help Councilman Gunza as much as I can. And
Oh, you're a big part of this.
So I just wanted you to know that definitely engaged in that subject, very near and dear to my heart. And I think we have some wonderful resources out there. And the last thing I'll say on that is that I received an email from Ms. Barbara Minetti in reference to a course or some training that's coming up this week in Goshen. And it's hosted by Orange County government. And it is it's Wednesday, the 24th of February, 9 to 11 a.m., 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Registration starts at 8:30 a.m., and the event is free to the public. And it is the Orange County Emergency Service Center. And it's about, again, this subject of being prepared for a natural disaster, a man-made disaster, whether it be an active shooter or what have you. But it's a great opportunity to get some great information to bring back to the community. And that's about it for me.
Thank you, sir. And you're doing a good job. June?
Just to add to what Ms. Council Member King said, we had a really good meeting, and he has a lot to give with his background. So I look forward to our little committee getting back on its feet and Ty being very much a part of that. And on that training on Wednesday morning, I don't know if she forwarded the number to you, but there's a phone number to respond.
I actually have, I'm just going to cut in because this was on my,
Yes.
I have the flyer about it.
Okay.
So if anybody
Take it.
needs.
Take it away.
And in addition, Ty and I met with Chief Quinn, and we interviewed a candidate. We had told him to go ahead, the board had told him to go ahead and interview someone and get them ready to be hired, and we did that. And you should have the application in your basket, or as part of this package, this meeting. So we can take action on that. And we also spoke to him about the leave of absence. And I think we're going to recommend that we give a 2-month leave of absence, and then we review it after 2 months.
Councilwoman Voltaire?
Sure. Yeah, so actually this morning, as a county employee, I get a lot of stuff coming through my email. And so today I'd gotten the press release about the training for Wednesday morning. It's being co-hosted by the Chamber of Commerce, and my understanding is it's open to everyone, but they're really focusing on businesses, how to respond to a response training. And so, yeah, I printed out the flyer about that seminar for Wednesday morning, so if anybody would like to look at it or have a copy, it's got information regarding, actually this goes with it, how to register and so on. Just two other things that I wanted to briefly mention. The school board is well into their budget season, so there are several meetings coming up as far as to present the school board budget, so on and so forth. I would just say check that out. I know it's in the paper and online when the different meetings are. They're Thursday nights, but there's a few of them coming up. And then one other thing that actually Mary Jane reminded me of last meeting that I wanted to mention. This meeting is tomorrow night. Is it canceled?
Thursday.
It's Thursday night. Why I have it on as Tuesday.
It was Tuesday.
Oh,
but it
okay.
was crappy.
All right. Thank you. So I'm not losing my mind. At O'Neill High School, they are having a stargazing presentation. It's going to be 7 p.m. and Environmental Club or some sort of club is hosting an event where open to the public would be able to go and check out the beautiful skies with some telescopes and whatnot. And it sounds like a really neat thing. I know it's also on the school website. And I will probably plug every week. The center, still looking for volunteers. If anyone has any availability during the day, there's some hours that we're looking for volunteers just to man the center. You don't have to have any kind of knowledge or experience. You just have to have a willingness to want to help and be there, because it's just for some drop-in hours. There's also a lot of programs going on at the center. Check Facebook. Drop in at the center, see what's going on. There's a calendar right in the storefront listing things that we have going on. One thing in particular, we will be having a summer enrichment program for the first 2 weeks after school is out, and so we're starting to get the word out about that. It's going to be for children grades 5 through 9, very low cost, but and lots of good activities and things are going to be taking place. So just, I know Mary Jane always has the updates in the paper with the programs and stuff that are going on there. So that's about it for me for today. Thank you.
Ma'am. Justin, you have anything? Anything to enlighten us with?
Well, I spoke briefly with the assessor as well, and she is looking into that tax issue, and I think it's prudent for the town to do so, so I'll help her with that as well. Other than that, I I believe they're all agenda items tonight.
I would appreciate that too, because it seemed, I didn't finish the conversation with her, it just seemed to be a lack of knowledge on both my part and hers as to what state law there would be that would apply in this kind of unique situation.
Sure, and when they initially contracted with the private developer, Balfour Beatty, I mean, there was a lot of communication at that time with the town officials, with the village officials, and there were agreements, not real property agreements, but there were agreements based on sales tax and the way certain things would occur during at least the build-out process. And as far as I know, the company was good in following all the agreements that were made between the collective parties. And I would expect that they'd be responsive to this concern. It's a clear shift in the dialogue. It was initially military housing, so this is clearly different. So I do think you're likely to see some success there, but like everything, there'll probably be a process to it.
Great.
I think everything else is on the agenda.
All right, okay. I'd like to thank the town board members for the involvement that they're getting into everything. It certainly makes, not that it's supposed to, but it certainly makes my job a heck of a lot easier. And I really appreciate the work that you're doing and the information you pass out at the town board meetings.
They get around.
They do, they do. I need to mention that at the ambulance building, Captain Burns, Marty, has been doing a tremendous amount of work on the paperwork. She's pulling the files apart, spreading them all out on the desk, and trying to get everything into perfect order. Not to say that Captain Stropel didn't do that, but Marty is just pulling things together and doing a great job and spending a lot of time on it, and she's even gotten, if I remember right, the captain, or I think they call him the chief in Cornwall, to come down and help her out with it. So she's doing a great job down there. First thing on our agenda is a resolution on local law number 1 for 2016.
And that you'll just need, if you're considering that, you'll need to do the seeker resolution first,
That's what I'm looking for.
asking for a negative declaration.
That's what happens when I put everything in order. It's all unordered. Oh, I know I did. Now, this local law will basically affect the superintendent of highways, the controller, and the building inspector. This allows them to live within 30 miles of the town of Highlands. Presently, I believe they all, no, our building inspector does not, but the other two people live within the town of Highlands. But should that change, or should we lose one of them, God forbid, should we lose one of them, it would just give us a greater area to pull from. So this local law, basically, as far as CEQA goes, which we have to do a CEQA determination,
I can summarize if you'd like.
good. Go.
It's a very basic resolution for seeker. All you're doing is a code change. Really, there's no environmental impact from that. So you'd just simply be issuing a negative declaration for seeker if someone wants to make that motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Edsel?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonza?
Aye.
Councilmember Voltaire?
Aye.
Supervisor Winston?
Aye. Okay, now the resolution itself, as I briefly summarized, and Justin, if I didn't summarize it properly,
Sure did.
okay. So this would be, I'll be looking for a resolution to pass here we go. It's a local law providing for the residency requirements for certain offices in the town of Highlands. It's local law number 1. Is there any discussion?
I'm prepared to make that motion.
Second it.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Edsall.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonza.
Aye.
Councilmember Voltaire.
Aye.
Supervisor Lozey.
Aye. Next, on the Cablevision agreement between Time Warner and the town of Highlands. Just to give you a little history before we, and this will be just setting a public hearing for the contract. The contract is renewable every 5 years. The contract we're working off right now was signed by then Supervisor Livesey in 1994. So it hasn't exactly hit the 5-year mark. So they accused us of not cooperating to get the contract out, right, Kelly? So what I'm doing is I'm doing the public hearing, but I want everyone to know ahead of time that I'm not in agreement with the contract, the draft contract that they put out. First of all, they eliminated what they do for us here at televising meetings. And I did request a donation to Town Park Beautification, which is not part of the old contract, but it's something that the village has been doing for years. They've been giving the village $5,000 for 4th of July every year. And so I thought I'd take a try at the $3,000. I explained to them it's not a deal breaker. They don't want to give it to us, fine. We get 5% of their gross receipts. The only thing different in there was that presently we get their check semi-annually, and they want to send it to us quarterly.
Yes.
Now, again, that's no big deal. So I wrote them a letter telling them what I'm doing, and I'll ask the town board to schedule a public hearing to receive public comments concerning cable franchise renewal agreement with Time Warner Cable.
Just along those lines, I'm in agreement with you. I'm not sure, at this point, I'd be voting in favor of it, although I'm not sure what kind of leverage we have. But I just had a question for Pat, with the double poll situation. I assume they're one of the 2 offenders there still, or are they off?
They're still
on.
under it. It's probably time again to take the leash off the dog and start getting on them again.
Okay.
Because it died down last year, so, again, they're very sloppy. They don't take care of our community.
Mhm.
They don't work very nice with Orange and Rockland. So, I agree on that.
Good, these are points that could be brought up at the public hearing,
Yeah,
and then we can
But I'm-
relay the message to them.
I'll make the motion to schedule a public hearing.
Second.
This public hearing, by the way, the date is wrong on your agenda, but it's to be for March 14th. So I have a motion,
Yeah.
seconded by June,
Yes.
and roll call, please.
Councilmember Edsall.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonza.
Aye.
Councilmember Voltaire.
Aye.
Supervisor Lozey.
Enclosed in your packet,
Supervisor Lozey.
yes, oh, aye. Enclosed in your packet are a list of employees who have completed their probation, and they are Michael Cashman, EMT, EMT Christina Engeles, EMT Joshua Wendell, Police Officer Lori Bailey, Police Officer James Caron, Police Officer Brian Larkin, Police Officer Richard Lyman, and Police Officer William Sherwood. Now, what I had mentioned, what we had mentioned as a town board is we would like to know before they've completed their probation. And the clerk in the controller's office slipped up on that, although she is catching up on it. And so we have Ryan Falk will be completing probation on 3/23/16. If you would have any problems between now and then, you most certainly have got to act on them, okay?
Use advise that today.
Jacob Sibley is due to be removed from probation on 4/1/16. And James Kierman is going to complete his probation on 3/18. So see that she gets that to us, Kelly, in a timely basis, and this is fine. And I, Ty, I'm not sure if you understand on the probation, but with civil service, they're on probation up until, well, we normally give them a 1-year probation. Prior to the end of that probation, if we have a reason why we want to let them go, we can let them go and civil service doesn't get involved or anything like that. Past the probation, then you got to follow all the civil service rules.
Correct. Absolutely.
We've had in the past, and for quite a while, we use the Church of the Holy Innocents for the senior dining program. And I need a resolution to authorize me to sign the space use agreement for the use of the Holy Innocents Church for senior dining for this year. They charge us $583 a month, which basically ends up to be about $7,000 a year, which is paid for by the Orange County Department of Aging. So I'll ask for a motion to authorize me to sign the space use agreement.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, and that's,
Councilmember Edsel,
aye.
Councilmember King,
All right.
Councilmember Gonza,
Aye.
Councilmember Voltaire.
Aye.
And Supervisor Lindsay.
Aye. Stop DWI 2016 intermunicipal agreement, and this letter is from the chief. I have attached the said agreement for your review. This is a standard agreement which provides financial reimbursement for our participation in the 2016 SOP DWI program. Program will commence on March the 14th and provides us with up to $1,504 of reimbursement for the first enforcement period. I'm recommending that the board enters into such agreement. Should you have any questions, please contact me. So I have a resolution authorizing us to go into this agreement.
So moved.
Second.
June?
Supervisor. Councilmember Edsel.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
All right.
Councilmember Gonza,
Aye.
Councilmember Voltaire.
Aye.
Supervisor Lindsay.
Aye. Part-time police officer application for Peter Monroe. He was interviewed by the chief, Councilman King and Councilwoman Gonza. He's up to be hired tonight. June, you have anything to say about him?
I felt very comfortable. He's a very nice young man. I think Councilmember King felt similarly.
Yeah, definitely. I feel strong about this candidate, particularly because he got a military background.
Sure.
Served in the military, was an armored crewman, so he's my kind of guy.
All right. All right.
Two tours and he made it back safely.
We'll keep him.
Okay, then I'll ask for a motion to hire Peter Monroe to the Office of Patrol Officer at the pay schedule and for a 1-year probation.
I think it's longer for the police.
Yeah, it's longer for police.
17 months?
So I'll make the motion that we hire Peter Monroe at the starting salary with the maximum probationary period.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. Now, we have a court attendant, Sam Namit. He refused to submit a resignation. He surrendered all his uniforms, the works, in an effort to terminate his employment. And the chief is recommending that the board terminate employment of Sam Namit as court attendant as he refused to participate in department training and has failed to be available for duty for the past 6 months. Second by?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Kelly, do you have a letter or anything on that? Do you need it?
No, I don't.
Well, let me give you this one from Jack. Okay, we have this Select Telecom Maintenance Agreement, which will commence on March the 16th. It may be renewed by the customer from year to year thereafter. The cost of it, this is maintenance on the phones, and is that
The
a,
system.
and it's at a certain rate, or just, and,
I didn't use it, I'm sorry.
okay, but I don't see a rate in there, so, yeah, okay, yeah, yes. Remedial maintenance, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, promptly after notification. To say nothing about price, so therefore I'm assuming that $1,450 is the price. That is, if I remember right, let me see, $55 more than last year. So I'll ask for a motion to allow me to sign this agreement. Do I have a motion?
It's 4.5% more than last year. I guess we really don't have any other options that are, so.
We can take a chance if nothing happens to the phone system, but
Yeah, if we don't have an agreement such as this, then we have to pay them to come by the hour, et cetera, et cetera. And I think we looked into this, June, we figured out this is not a bad deal at all.
Yeah, I called them a number of times in the
Clerk just
past.
told me we had a lot of problems last year, so it's worth it.
Okay, all
All
right,
right.
I'm good.
Motion by
So moved.
Councilman Etzel.
Seconded.
Seconded. All in favor? Aye. So carried. Leave of absence, June, you want to discuss that?
Yeah, one of our police officers has taken a full-time job at a district, the Dutchess County District Attorney's Office, and he was asking for time off while he trained over there, but he would like to remain on our police force. So after discussion, the same day that Councilman King and the chief and I met, we decided to give him, to recommend a 2-month leave of absence, which could be renewed or would not have to be. We would review it at the end of 2 months. So we're recommending that he receive a 2-month leave of absence.
I spoke with the officer myself. He's been with us, I think, 8 years, although I think the chief is not happy with the amount of time he gives us. He does give us as much as he has to spare. Sharp-looking officer, nice-looking officer, and I'd recommend,
Actually, after our meeting, I spoke to the chief about that, and he did put in a couple of extra days.
oh, okay.
So maybe he just needed a nudge.
Little nudge, okay, okay. So I'd recommend it. And June, you said you'd recommend it also, or?
Yeah, I think we're kind of in agreement that day.
Okay, so I'll ask for a motion to allow a 2-month leave of absence for Patrolman Huff.
I make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. Okay, the background check program you're going to get to us for the next meeting. Just a little more specific, and I think there was a choice of 2 different plans there or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let us know what you recommend, what you're looking for. I think that'd be great. And our highway superintendent is looking into, what was the name of that program?
Lens program?
Lens program, which anybody in the town of, anybody that drives for the town, a town vehicle, would have their licenses put into this program, and should there be any problems, this license would, we would be notified almost immediately, I guess.
Yes, they send emails out as soon as somebody has a fault or something happens to their license.
And you're going to work with Marty to,
Yes, I'm going to
get
contact
that.
Marty tomorrow and
okay.
see if we can get something set up with that.
All right. I don't have anything more.
I forgot to mention that during that meeting last Thursday, there were comments from the audience about who's paying for this, and, because it's a very large undertaking, and I just have to commend the village for putting up their portion of the contribution. If I was a village resident, I'd be very happy that they did that, because it really has tremendous potential, and the mayor spoke very well to that point under difficult circumstances.
So I think they're getting just short of 40,000, so that would mean the village put in 20,000.
Pretty close to 20,000, of which if you implement there's some guidelines surrounding that, but if you follow through with a lot of the recommendations, you'll get a lot of that back. So, but yeah, they are spending quite a bit of money to get this done, and I commend them for doing that. So.
Anyone else have a public comment, anything, ladies? No?
I have something just real quick.
Yeah.
Just want to remind everybody that the town of Highlands now has a YouTube channel, so you can see our town board meetings. I'll try and have it posted tomorrow sometime. And I'm still a little slow with that. And I just wanted to tell the board that on Thursday, I'm going to be going to the town of New Windsor. They have someone coming in to do a financial software demonstration. So they invited me to sit in on it. I think I've mentioned before, having a lot of trouble with support for the financial software that we're using right now. I was hoping we wouldn't have to purchase new software until next year's budget. But we're starting to look at it this year. When we call for help with payroll, if we have a payroll issue, our response time from KDS used to be immediate. They just answered the phone and helped. And it's up to 48 hours now sometimes to get a response. It's really unacceptable. And I have, I voiced my opinion. And all the other municipalities are feeling the same way. And I actually had June send out an email to her town clerk associates, and they responded with the type of financial software they're using. So we have lots of things to look at in that regard. So that's it.
Good. Justin, you have anything more?
No more, sir.
Aaron, miss anything?
Yeah, that's one more thing.
Yes.
I was out on Saturday, I think it was, yes. What's it, Saturday? Very nice day out, right, Saturday? And just around town, and just really felt good in the village here with a lot of activity. Apparently, folks are coming in from West Point. But there was two places in particular that I stopped at. One was the bunker. And the bunker is behind the center. I think Mr. Patrick Kelly, is the proprietor of the bunker. And so a lot of cadets there, a lot of positive vibes. They had some music and things of that nature.
It's open?
Well, I think it may have
Or
been
is it like a
open
soft
just
opening kind of
for
a-
that day,
okay.
and there's a future grand opening coming.
Okay.
But I was able to talk to cadets as they came out of there. And it was interesting that some of them we're looking forward to doing more things within our community. So I just want to pass that on, that those new businesses like the Pied Piper
Yeah, there's a lot
Pies,
going on.
the bunker, and hopefully this Italian restaurant, all these types of things. And now here we got a new Chamber of Commerce president. That's very exciting. So all these kinds of things is creating a buzz in our community, which I think is very positive.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Anyone else? Anything else? MJ, you got anything?
Ms. Voltaire's daughter was the cutest little pig ever at the middle school playground Friday and Saturday.
How are the cheerleaders doing?
Cheerleaders are going
The
to
cheerleader,
states.
yes.
Highland Falls, Fort Montgomery, West Point, and Garrison. There's girls from all 4 communities on the team. They did fantastic. They won first place, and